Oh, there's a goal! Oh, at least I thought he was gonna until he blew it.
This is the time in Sportsball season where every single aspect of a game is amplified to ridiculous proportions. Both teams need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive, their conference foes looking for closure. As the hobbled Redskins try their damnedest to keep up with Derrick Henry plowing the field like a workhorse, Adrian Peterson has a Lombardi-sized hole in his chest yearning to be fixed. Washington still has a chance. Marcus Mariota received a present in the form of roughly his 5th injury of the year. Tennessee also gets the lump of coal known as Blaine fucking Gabbert to rely on. The Skins can no longer boast having the most misfortune in the league. Despite all efforts to pull away a stunning victory, the Titans exposed their opponent's battered and scarred remains to secure the ugly W. I will proceed to damn Tennessee with faint praise for their efforts, Josh Norman's chirping aside. They still have playoff hopes. The Browns, however, their postseason pipe dream is officially dead. Now just imagine for a second if Cleveland did what they should have done to begin with and fired Hugh Jackson. This season may not have been another wasted one. There's legitimate hope in Berea, but the real ailment over there is Jimmy Haslam. Get rid of him and then you will experience true bliss. Another situation where both teams desperately need the win. Baltimore to hold the last wildcard slot and potentially gain hold of the AFC North. The Chargers to keep pace for a chance at a playoff game at StubHub Center. I didn't say home game as the stadium was yet again filled with a surprising amount of Charger fans. It's too bad that they got to experience the San Diego tradition. A team full of promise that falls apart when it really matters. Despite getting Melvin Gordon back, the Diamond Dogs did next to nothing thanks to a stingy Ravens defense and very untimely turnovers. Once again, they had a chance to secure dominance in their division, and played it like a damn fiddle. Arrowheads fly as a wildcard is most likely their destiny. The Ravens have another statement win against one of the hottest teams in football over the past month by means of dominating their foes. John Harbaugh's ass has been saved from the firing squad thanks to not starting a checkdown magnet. Unless Baltimore falters against their old home, they have earned a spot in the postseason. Tyler Boyd will tell me not to count my eggs until they're hatched. Look yonder, Vikings, and see your Valhalla. It happens to be in Detroit, a glorified home match for Minnesota as the Lions are battered and with nothing to play for. If there is a meal that Kirk Cousins yearns for, it's one involving sub-500 teams. He'll pick apart that defense like it was Minnesota's heartstrings. All 84 million of them. Look even further, Vikings, and see a team that considers a Hail Mary to be a cheat code. The Lions are trash and Matt Stafford was benched for being terrible even in the fantasy football sense. Now Minnesota sets up to fight for their lives against the Bears. Here's a pin commemorating the knockout of the Redskins. What Washington experienced registers as roughly a 21 on the Cleveland scale. Horrible pain and agony around every corner as a 5-2 start was undone by the equivalent of the Conquistadors. I would feel bad, but fuck Dan Snyder. He doesn't give a shit though, he's more interested in the thought police apprehending their better defenders. Hey mom, come quick, Miami forgot how to play football again. They've gone from incredible miracles to the incredible miracle of letting a team that stopped caring a month ago keep in this game. It's hard to feel bad when both of them are playing like absolute shit. Such a game is usually reserved for public access channels where no one bothers to watch. Even then, the people on those stations manage to have passion for what they do. Not these guys. As Jacksonville somehow takes the lead, the Dolphins' lives are in the balance.
Tannehill in trouble, throws, and it's picked off! Telvin Smith, and it's a pick six!
I only have 2 words to say, Miami. Bye, Felicia. You can pick up your annual helping of agonizing mediocrity at will call. Here's a Ryan Tannehill voodoo doll. If it lasts you more than 5 games, consider it a bonus. This game is like watching 2 druggies duke it out in an alleyway. It's full of failure and some fucker is recording it for a bootleg DVD. To the dismay of the morbid of us, Aaron Rodgers is willingly playing these last few games for team pride, thus robbing the world of a tank bowl. It didn't matter in the beginning as the Packers did what they have done best all year. Shit themselves defensively. Sam Darnold lighting that secondary up like the New York skyline. All signs pointing to the Jets further ruining their tank because Todd Bowles is being selfish and wants to save his job. A 15-point lead should be enough for that. Oh, so now is the time Aaron Rodgers is pulling out incredible bullshit to bail out an awful squad. You're about 3 weeks late, buddy. There's nothing to gain from this other than bragging rights. You beat the butt fumble. No thanks in part to their utter lack of discipline. Next, they will reveal to us that 2 + 2 does indeed equal 4. Wake me when something real happens. Carolina may still have a slight shot at the postseason, but Cam has been beaten to hell and back. He's been shut down for the season in the hopes of his shoulder not being wrecked further than it is. Today we get the debut of Taylor Heineke, a nice feel-good story from Old Dominion, but the NFL doesn't give a shit about sentimental stuff. The Falcons are blood-hungry and wish to take down their rivals. A strong second half by Atlanta's offense quashes any hopes that Charlotte had to bits. The football gods love a good feast. Tonight's main course is wood-seared panther. From 6-2 in the world in the palm of your hands to losing 7 in a row. Yep, Shang Tsung ripped your souls out at Heinz Field. The Steelers game laid their flaws bare and they never recovered from it. What a waste of Christian McCaffrey's season. Hugh Jackson has returned to his old stomping grounds in Cleveland. I argue that he shows no signs of rust. The man keeps losing in the dog pound. This time, however, the Browns are the one obliterating their in-state rival and resident irrelevant franchise of the AFC North. Sure, the Bungles may have scored 18 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, but this would be an issue if they had something to play for besides a contract for next year. They didn't. Cleveland wins and gets some semblance of optimism and excitement in their lives for the first time in years. You have a legit shot to be something in the future, Browns. Do us all a favor and don't fuck it up yet again. I don't give a damn about what the scoreboard says. The Patriots should be doing nothing but pressing the gigantic red panic button in Belichick's nuclear bunker. They look like shit. Their passing attack is in absolute shambles. Tom Brady had the worst game he played since, I honestly don't know. The only thing Gronk is hulking out on are injuries in the withered shell of his prime. It's a good thing they're playing Buffalo, since they're a total shit show from the inside and out. The offense did its best imitation of earlier in the year by going nowhere and made it easy enough. You can also thank Sony Michel later. New England gets their version of a participation trophy with this win, clinching the AFC East. I would talk about how you are the benefactor of an even weaker division than usual, but you have bigger pills to swallow. It involves Josh Gordon, the best receiver they have. He's taking a break from football to focus on his mental health and has been indefinitely suspended by the NFL. Again, he relapsed, despite a round-the-clock security detail the team had on him. All the story does is make me depressed. An amazing talent undone and wasted by his own demons. As a result, he may have played his last snap in the NFL. Mental illness is a fucking bitch, and I only wish for his recovery from whatever ails him. Sport never takes credence over this sort of thing. What a shame. As uninspiring as the Cowboys may be in patches offensively, they have a shot at locking up the division again against Tampa Bay, a team that keeps tripping over itself whilst shooting for the moon. The story is the same for the Buccaneers. Gain a shitload of yards in the air, but fail to do anything worth a damn when it matters. Today's special of the day is famous Jameis and his oven-fresh turnovers. 2 juicy fumbles to be exact, allowing the Cowboy defense to salivate at a tasty touchdown and for the sprawling Dallas area to beat their chests deep into the night. They have a right to in a way, clinching the NFC East. Well done, Cowboys. You managed to not fuck up enough to win a division that couldn't stop walking into bear traps. There will be a chance to win a third playoff game since the mid-90s. I cringe at what such a result could bring to the world. Their in-division foe, the Giants, can be a big spoiler. The Indianapolis Colts need this win to keep up with the Titans and a potential playoff spot. As the game progressed to halftime, New York was doing this beautifully. No thanks in part to Andrew Luck being a bit sloppy in the early going. However, this is the derp, and they are charging right into a line of Gatling guns. The Colts are slowly mowing down their defenses bullet by bullet. They are in position for the kill shot.
Low. Caught. Touchdown!
What you are hearing is the NFL jumping into a pile of money for the narratives this one will bring to next week. I know the chance is still there for New York, but this is Eli. He'll derp the chance away like he usually does. The Colts stay alive in the hunt with a showdown against Tennessee for all of the 6th-seeded marbles. It now becomes must-watch football. The suits wouldn't have it any other way. The Eagles are still hoping that Nick Foles still has some magic in that old arm of his to will them to January football. In the loving embrace of Philadelphia, they may be facing their stiffest challenge yet. A group of Texans ready to sew up their division with a victory. Deshaun Watson may be an excellent quarterback, but he has nothing on the true savior. Big Dick Nick. Like the great scrolls of Independence Hall had foreseen, Foles had himself a game for the ages when his city needed it the most. Even then, it may not be enough. Thanks to a practice squad secondary and ref ball doing their best Steve Nash impression, the Texans have taken the lead with 2 minutes left. Fortunately, this is no challenge for Big Dick Nick. Their revived Lord and Savior has risen on the 3rd day.
Jake Elliott sweeps the leg. He's got it!
Fucking hell, the Eagles are a real-life movie script. The down-and-out contender fighting his way back to the championship. These last 2 wins are part of a training montage. We're just watching the filming of it. Don't worry, Houston, you at least got closure and have made the playoffs. Impressive form going from 0-3 to Krakatoa in the blink of an eye. Bill O'Brien has been relieved from the fires of the hot seat. They've stayed healthy for the most part and have a lot of intrigue. Whether this is legitimate or a mirage like seasons past is to be determined. In front of this illustrious Rams army lies a band of scoundrels, bastards, and men unworthy of their time. The Cardinals are beneath the ground they use as a glorified outhouse as they beat their brains out behind a shed. FYI, this is without Todd Gurley. Arizona has been such a disaster that there are grumblings that Steve Wilkes and his ineffectiveness will be out on his ass at the end of the season. Who knew that one-year coordinators who hadn't coached in 20 years had such a high risk of blowing up in your face? Perhaps one day a sports historian will take pity on these fucks and write a few sentences about their miserable fate. A return to irrelevance. And a wasted generational talent in Larry Fitzgerald. What the hell is it with San Fran trying to sabotage their own tanks repeatedly over the past few seasons? You guys should be looking to ground yourself and secure the likes of Bosa, not trying to make us laugh at the Bears again. Then again, they're trying to do that themselves, what with a metric ton of miscues and gaffes to put the Three Stooges to shame. Despite repeatedly using the Niners as their own banana peel for cheap slapstick, comedy Chicago escapes from Santa Clara with an ugly, ugly victory. As crazy as it sounds, they have an outside shot at a first-round bye. It will have to go through the Vikings for any chance of materializing. With the Chargers' loss, Kansas City now has the keys to drive their fancy Lamborghini right into the #1 seed of the AFC. Little did we all know that the Chiefs chose to get a little too liberal with the sauce before stepping in the car and totaled the damn thing. Did I mention this was barbecue sauce? As the Seahawks picket your innards strewn on hundreds of feet of road, night begins to fall on the Pacific shoreline. What Kansas City is experiencing is what we call the Sutton Sunset. When that pathetic excuse for a secondary is trotted out onto the field to defend, all hope disappears over the horizon, leading to darkness. Russell Wilson made fast work of that defense in the second half, leading Seattle to victory, and a guaranteed entry into January. I'd say you guys making it in is more of a testament to how weak the rest of the NFC was over the year, but I'll give you a lot of credit for bucking the people who said you were going to be in the basement. Me, I had you pegged for 8-8. I just didn't expect the defense to be as reliable as it's been as of late. Onward to your next challenge, Mr. Carroll. Here's an extension for your efforts. In what could be the final game for the Raiders in Oakland, it gets a glorious send-off. A heavyweight tank ball! Oakland is so close to the goal of achieving the ultimate tank. If they lose out, they would succeed in getting a prime draft selection and give Gruden a chance at an excellent talent in the what the fuck are you doing, Raiders?
And look at the return he gets.
Don't go for the temporary high. You have a shot at a date with Bosa or Oliver.
As he gets free. How about it, Raider Nation?
You know what? Fine. Obliterate the hope of your carefully sculpted tank. Like I care that the Broncos are a shithouse and the Black Hole gets a bittersweet send-off. People just don't look at the big picture. On the other side of the coin, let's just say that Vance Joseph may end up having the time of his life in the unemployment line soon enough. To put him in Madden as slow development would be an insult to that rating. He's just not a head coach. Elway will fuck it up again, too. Just watch as he courts Mike Shanahan? Do you not see the team you're playing? Why do you go to the guy whose most recent accomplishment was fucking up RG3's career? God damn it, Denver, you're fucked too, aren't you? Next week will lead to numerous storylines for the final spots in the postseason. The divisions are all locked up excluding the AFC North and West. Baltimore now holds the top spot in the North. A win or Steelers loss will guarantee them the division. However, a loss and Steelers win or tie will give Pittsburgh back their claim. The Chiefs still hold tiebreaker over the AFC West, so they are win and clinch. For the Chargers to take the division, they would need to win and the Chiefs to lose or tie. The 6th seed is a simpler proposition. Indianapolis plays Tennessee. The winner secures a wildcard slot, the loser goes home. Pittsburgh still has a very slim chance at this seed, but it would require these teams to tie. As for the remaining first round bye, New England regained possession of it, so if they win, they get the 2nd seed. Lose and a Houston win has them gain the extra rest. The NFC only has 2 teams fighting for the final spot. Minnesota clinches the playoffs with a win, but a loss and Philadelphia win will allow them the right to defend their title. The other remaining question is in the first round bye. The Rams control their own destiny in this regard, but a loss and Bears win will give Chicago the 2nd seed. Just like last year, all the important games have been flexed to the 4 p.m. time slot with Indianapolis at Tennessee in prime time. This volatile season is reaching its final turn. Everyone agrees on the main rule.
Don't get eliminated!
And now, a moment of silence for all those we've lost over the past week.
Unit lost. 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 Unit lost.
The football gods show no mercy. Amen.
This is going to be returned by Barner. Inside the 5. And Barner with a good return and gets smacked down by Bajer. So Bajer says, well, I don't mind making the kick or the tackle. And what a cruncher that was, but a 32-yard return.